Well, if anybody joins me live, fantastic. If I just have people who are catching the replay, either or, go ahead and say hi. So today I had a plan. I kind of wanted to chat all about really the following everyone else's strategy. I've seen it time and time again in all the years that I've worked with clients, but I've really seen it in the last little bit. And it is the thing that really does it affects us, I think, more than anything, honestly. So as highly conscious entrepreneurs, soulpreneurs, we are even more prone to this because it is imperative that our business is always in alignment to our divine self-expression. And so within that is so much. But before I get into that topic, and my goal is not to chat for a long time today. Hello, Heather. I do want to give like a brief. So my core wound life lesson, which I know from my blueprint, anybody who's had that done with me, then they would know. So mine is persistence. And I have learned the last month that I really truly do. So in the past, I would kind of launch something, not really put it out, just tease it a little bit, maybe share it, maybe send an email or two, and then that was kind of it. If people didn't sign up right away, I was like, okay, I'm out. Your core wound life lesson will go throughout your whole entire life. Hello, Janice. And it makes you susceptible to negative karmic patterns. So yeah, I've been persisting, even when it's felt hard, even when things haven't seemed to be landing. I have continued to persist. I have pushed myself outside of my comfort zone. And I have to tell you, each and every time I have hit my goal or beyond even my goal for what I was planning within each of these things. So if you're doing, like, just keep at it. Keep at it. That's kind of my little mini lesson there for everybody. Okay, so again, kind of today's topic. And my goal is to come weekly. Life happens and everything like that. So, I mean, there's no guarantee. It may not always happen, but this is my goal. And whether it's just coming on and again, sharing like last week, I think it was last week that I came on live and that whole kind of little lesson or whatever, or something that I'm seeing playing out, or if, as I put in the other post, like if you've got things you'd like me to touch on, I'm more than happy to. So feel free to ask if there's anything. Okay, so this is all about why following everyone else's strategy can very likely be keeping you stuck. This, again, it's a pattern that I keep seeing powerful, soul-led entrepreneurs, but mainly women stuck. And it's something that I've personally experienced. And I know many of my clients have too. I know many people even that I've spoken to have too. And then when I share this with them, like the light bulb goes off, right? So what happens is trying to follow other people's strategies that work for them instead of honoring our own path that our soul is actually calling us to. Why our intuition is so key when we're running, again, a soul-led business. And why I'm teaching a masterclass on that tonight, because like it is very, very key, because then we know where we're being guided. So if this already resonates with you, go ahead, comment. Again, I see it time and time again. We sign up for a course but nothing sticks, right? And so then you sign up for another course and another, and you grab the freebie and you read the book and you watch the videos and you do all the things that you're told to do, all of the strategy, all of the business advice, the marketing advice, like everything. And I'm not saying that advice that you're being given is not correct, because I mean, it is, and it works for some people. It worked for the person who's teaching it, right? They're teaching what worked for them. Problem is, we're not all one size fits all. And so what got somebody to be able to make 10K in their first month might not work for you. And if you try it and it doesn't work and you keep pushing, and this is what I see time and time again, and it does not matter, you do not, I mean, it's really in any business. I see it a lot in MLMs, network marketing businesses. Why? Because it's like you just follow their structure, you follow their system, you follow your upline. Well, they did this, this is how they got successful, so I'm going to duplicate what they do, right? Or you take a training, you learn Reiki, and your Reiki, master teacher taught you that this is what you do, so then you do that, but it doesn't work for you. So again, then you think, okay, well, maybe I need to learn something new. I need another tool. I need to take another course. I need to, trust me, like my bookshelf back there is full of it. I know, I speak from experience. And again, too, seeing it time and time again with clients and just people in general. I see time and time again, people commenting about how they're frustrated that their business isn't growing, or worse, their business, the growth, the income, it's declining. And that's what happens when we try to follow strategies that are not ours. So when we do, I just see my son's home from golfing, so hopefully it's not too loud when he comes in. But so yeah, if you've like signed up for courses and you followed all the things and you see the ads, I don't know about your Facebook feed, but like mine is all about do this to make money, do this to, this is the answer, this is the answer, this is the answer. Just follow my strategy. And if you tried it and it didn't work for you, I mean, it's not really you. It's that people are guiding based on what worked for them. But again, we all have a completely different, unique blueprint. So I can't even teach you on what worked for me. I would have to teach you, I would have to look at your blueprint, and I would have to teach you based on your blueprint, not mine. Because how I market, how I sell, what structures and systems in my business are most aligned to me, very well may cause your business to stagnate, again, or as I said, even worse, decline. Again, I share this because I did it. I jumped into a high-level mastermind, business mastermind by this incredible coach who's built 3 7-figure businesses, and not over 20, 30, 40 years. No, within the last 5-ish years, built that. So thinking, well, they know a thing or two. And I mean, they do, 100%. But following all of that advice and following all of those strategies, yeah, I got myself to where my business was almost at zero. So again, I share from my experience and I share from what I see other people out there too. So, and then what happens too, so if we're forcing ourselves to follow all of these experts, and I put it in quotations because like you are the only expert. You are the expert on you and your business and your energy. That's it. And if you're going to work with somebody, you need to make sure that they're going to work with you around you, not around them. So when we're doubting our intuition, right? Because it contradicts with that expert's advice. So the experts are telling us do this, but your intuition, like you're being guided and you're like, no, it's not, it doesn't feel right. But that's what they're telling me to do. So I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep forcing myself to put out these posts or to do these reels or to, do whatever. And it's not working. And so again, misalignment. So, also too, like if you feel like you're doing all the things, like you've tried all the things, and again, I see it time and time again with people, when people come to me, they are so misaligned, they're so frustrated, their business or their income has decreased, and they're at the end of the rope, but they've already spent so much money wasted on things that haven't helped them. They've just hindered, right? And so if you feel like you're doing all the things and you're not seeing the results, there is a massive misalignment. Because results, if you are taking steps and you're doing the actions and building, and I'm not talking about working hard here. I'm not saying if you're putting in 12-hour days, pushing, or even 8-hour days, pushing and pushing and pushing, out there pounding the pavement, as they would say, right? Working hard, stressing. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm talking about that if you're getting up every day and you're taking an action or two, a strategic action or two, and and also just doing other things, and you're not seeing any results, there's a misalignment. So another thing that happens is if switching, right? So when it seems like nothing's working, so that it's like, okay, well, maybe I need to change up my, and again, I share, been there, done that. But you switch up your strategy, you switch up your sessions, maybe your niche, maybe that niche isn't the right one, maybe I need to do this, right? So you're switching all these things, you're chasing the clarity, because again, instinctively, your intuition, like you're being guided. We are highly conscious people. We know. So we're being guided to the clarity. That's, again, what's going to put us into alignment, but it doesn't do it. So, like seriously, as I said, time and time again, I have fallen into this trap. And I'm not saying to not learn anything. I'm not saying to not work with a coach or, to jump into this program or to read that book. I'm not saying any of that. But what I'm saying is you need to really, truly tune in and be like, okay, is this the right thing for me? And if you're getting a no, doesn't matter how much money you've invested, if it's like no, or it's not working. Like if something is not working, stop. If your intuition is telling you this doesn't feel right for me, stop. Don't try to force it. Like as women, we instinctively do that. Well, like they said that's so I should just, no, honestly. So, yeah. So again, it's really all about energetic misalignments. That's what's so key for us. So again, like they're proven, right? Like here, I'm going to put it simply. Okay. So you could go and somebody who has the exact same business as you, or they're running and that's exactly what you want to do. And so you think to yourself, okay, if I just emulate their business, what they're doing, how they're showing up, obviously, if they found success, then I should too, right? But again, even if the steps are proven, they weren't built for you. So they're actually going to never feel sustainable. And also the even bigger key, again, as highly conscious entrepreneurs, they're not going to be magnetic. And that's the key. We don't go chasing business. We tap into alignment, we tap into our energy, and it almost, again, we can't just sit back and do nothing. Okay. I always tell people or whatever, if you're trying to manifest winning the lottery, you actually have to go get a lottery ticket. Because it's not just going to magically show up at your door. Nowadays you can go onto an app and it's super easy. Like it's way more convenient. You kind of can sit back. We're able to be a little bit lazier. But again, you can sit back on your couch with your laptop and do a couple posts. Like you do have to do things. I don't want anybody to think that you don't have to do anything. Like you can just sit and put your feet up and just relax. And, because I'm in alignment and so I'm going to be magnetic and everybody's going to just magically find me. Like everybody's going to be knocking on my door. Not quite. But when you're doing it from your aligned strategies, when you're following your blueprint and what works for you and your energy, then you naturally become magnetic. So you're naturally going to be putting out those authentic posts that really truly speak to your divine self-expression. Maybe you get inspired by somebody else, but you take that and you're like, okay, where's my insight in this? Where's my truth? Where's my journey? How can I make this me? And that's what you put out. And then from there, right? Again, none of us are really kind of like completely innovating here. We are very much in that reinventive energy of like, okay, because there's only so much that can be innovated, right? I'm not saying, maybe some of you are going to have incredible innovative ideas and like go for it. Again, is what you're doing, are you making money? Because if you're not, and if your money is not staying or increasing, ultimately we want it to increase. but if it's at least not staying the same, that's a red flag for you. And I don't want you to keep pushing. So it's one of the reasons why I was like, I want to come on and talk about this, because as I said, I see time and time again, they're either pushing, they're pushing everything that they've already been kind of told, all of the information that's been overwhelmed. They're pushing all of those strategies, all of that advice, all of those experts, and nothing's happening, sorry. Or they're just pushing at what they think, or what isn't working. Again, like, you could take somebody who has the exact business as you and completely do what they do, and you're not going to have the success that they did at all, because it doesn't matter that it's the same business. We all have our own unique blueprint. We all have our own unique energy. And so you have to bring that into it. So your business won't be like theirs. And when you try to copy somebody else, again, you won't find the success there. So yeah, like that person, their business and the reason that they found the success, I mean, there's so many reasons, and we could get into that. But in this situation, so it's their blueprint, it's their design, it's their lessons, it's their timing, it's their journey, it's their story. You can't take that and try to do that for yourself. So really, truly, as soulpreneurs, just all entrepreneurs, honestly, but we often bypass that internal wisdom that we know, like innately we know. Right? Our soul is guiding us. We, again, highly conscious, we are truly tapped in. We know, but often we're kind of going in favor of that external. That could be the number of likes, how many followers do I have? Whatever it is, that external validation that's coming in. The only external validation that you need to pay attention to is your income. Is it either staying the same, if you're okay with that, or is it increasing? So, obviously too, like we've got other, things that can create the misalignment, especially if we've been in this space where we're like pushing and pushing and pushing, we're pushing on things that are not in alignment for us. I mean, what ends up happening, again, they come to me, they're burnt out, they're in the state of confusion, they're feeling super stuck. They get to the point where they're they're resentful around everything that they have, all the time and the money that they have spent and invested. Ugh. And again, been there, done that as well myself. So, or they're showing up inconsistent because, again, they're into this middle space of like, okay, but they're telling me to do this, but I'm really feeling I should do this, but they're telling me I should, you're right. It's this back and forth. It's messy energy. Obviously too, like we have the fear of visibility. And so showing up truly who we are within our authentic self and our authentic energy, we're being super vulnerable. Right? Whereas it's like, well, if they did that and it worked for them and I can just do the same thing, as opposed to just showing up truly who we are. Again, so, and within that, obviously, then we can end up in that shrinking energy. So also out of misalignment. So I have some notes because I wanted to make sure I kind of like touched on all the things, because my soul's visionary. It's like, woo. So I like to try to like keep things grounded. And again, to like share information that hopefully is going to help you, inspire you. You're going to be like, oh, that's me. Okay. And give you the permission. Like, I hope with this, you have the permission to just do that. That's it. You don't need to, like, even if I share something, okay, and it's got tips in it, I want you to tune in, again, why I'm teaching a masterclass tonight on intuition, because I found this time and time again with clients. They come to me for a session and everything like this, and then they keep coming back and I'm like, I need you to tune into you. My ultimate goal is for the people who come to work with me, that they then stop, that they're then on their own, and they ultimately don't really ever need to work with somebody else again, because they're so tuned in to who they are that There is no questioning energy. So what happens when we get into the space and where we're overriding our soul, we're overriding our energy, we're overriding our blueprint and our, again, our framework for how we're supposed to do business. But this is also life. This is not just specific business. This is everything. Honestly, we have a unique blueprint for everything in our life, business, relationships, health. Like the health one, I went through this. I'm around that age, and it's like protein, protein, protein. Well, I was doing that, and I have to tell you, I have never felt worse in my entire life. And I have had my fair share of health things. And it was like, and I kept getting the little nudge, and it was like, I don't know if this is right. Like, what? It just doesn't feel. And I finally did and I actually, because of course, I didn't necessarily trust myself so much. Had a few really harsh lessons in the last month that are really pushed, like that no more overriding my soul. But yeah, it didn't, like, I did some Googling and I was like, yeah, I feel like and then somebody else I know, actually, very, very spiritual, incredible soul. And she had put that she was like trying to force herself to get up every morning and like eat like 3-4 eggs and do the whole thing. And she too was feeling like absolute garbage. And she's like, I just want like a piece of sourdough with, I don't remember, I think she put hummus on it or something. She's like, I just want that. She started eating that again because that's what her body was craving. And then she felt so much better. So I had to laugh because it was like the exact same time. Her and I actually, because we just went through, it's something that happened last week. Maybe I'll share it in a moment. Again, too, it's this tuning in, right? So actually, I think I will share it because I think it could be helpful for people. So anyways, this cost of overriding our soul. Emotional costs, right? So doubt, frustration, the self-blame. Then we get into the whole like self-blame, like I should have known better. Why did I do that? Why did I fall into that again? Why did I sign up for something again? I just, more money and didn't really get anywhere. There's a spiritual cost, right? If we're filling ourselves with all of this outside energy and information, we can get to the point where we lose trust in our own gifts and our own guidance. And that's not what I want for any of you. So obviously there's that energetic cost, right? We're going to end up leaking vital force energy into things that aren't ours, not what we want to be doing. And obviously the biggest one of all, reason why you guys are all in this group, is like the business, right? It's the business cost. It's going to be the inconsistent income. It's going to be the flaky audience. And it's going to be the offers that don't convert. Now, to my first story at the beginning, if you put out an offer and people are not jumping right away, keep at it, okay? Because it does take persistence. A lot of people don't make the decision right away. It takes time and they have to kind of think about it. Maybe they need to see it a few times and maybe they're going to jump in at the last minute, whatever. Trust me, I went to bed last night thinking, okay, these are the people that I have for my masterclass tonight. And I woke up this morning to notifications of other people that signed up. So I was like, okay, got to get them the information out. So yeah, keep at it, persist. Even though that's my core womb life lesson, it's still one for all of us, honestly. Okay, once we've realigned, this is what happens, right? So your clients, your current clients, your prospective clients, they're going to feel that energy shift. They're going to see that your content is going to flow. I always know when I'm in alignment because people are resonating, they're liking. And again, I have tons of people who I will think to myself, they don't even see my stuff. And all of a sudden I'll get a DM from somebody and they will say, oh my gosh, I just have to say, your stuff so resonates with me, like for years. And I'm thinking, okay, a lot of people, they are paying attention. They're just not commenting, but those little pop-ins, those are a sign you're in alignment. Obviously people jumping in on things, but just, other opportunities coming other ways too, because we always have, maybe I'll touch on this at some point. I work deeply with my clients around this, but we have direct and indirect actions. So again, I think I put on the weekend, and it might have been on the weekend, maybe it was Friday, where it was like, if you've been pushing at your business and it seems like nothing's really happening, like do nothing. either do nothing in total, especially if you're exhausted, give yourself permission to like take a break. Or if you're pushing, I quite often do this. So if it feels like, if I'm having a day where it feels like I am pushing and it's almost becoming forcing, I will actually take a step back. It's hilarious. I will either cook something because I love cooking, baking, anything like that. Again, I'm all about the physical, so it's creating things. Cooking is a big one of those. So I'll go do the dishes. Actually, I get so many downloads doing the dishes. In the nice weather, I'll go garden. I'll clean, like cleaning as well too. Cleaning shifts the energy in so many ways, but those are indirect actions, but you're doing something. So you don't have to feel like you're constantly forcing business. So there you go. You got a little like mini lesson even in there. I was just like, I just have to, I share. So, yeah, so you're going to stop questioning your every move. You're going to know, okay, no, this is what I got to do. You're going to wake up. And again, I think it's Abraham Hicks, and she says, tune in, tapped in, but you truly will be tuned in, tapped in. When you are in alignment, when you are trusting your intuition, when you are so tuned in, tapped into your own energy, you're going to know, is this right for me? Nope. Okay. Right? You're going to do things and you're going to be like, yeah, okay, this still feels good, right? When something doesn't feel good, again, red flag. So, and things in your business and your life, again, because everything is interconnected. We are whole beings. Everything is connected. So things will begin to feel better. Not because it's perfect, because that's the thing. Perfection doesn't exist. But because it's yours, it's going to be your energy and everything like that. So, yeah. And like, I will share. I have had clients and I have told them, and they still continue. Again, I see certain industries where it's like, well, that's what they told, that's how you do it. So I'm just going to share last week at like 3 a.m. I woke up, which I quite often do, and it's really annoying, but it is what it is. I've stopped fighting it. I've tried all the things. It does not matter. I fall asleep, no problem, but I often wake up. And the more that I stop fighting it, the more that I can like easily fall back asleep. But so the other night, last week, and I woke up 3 a.m. and I tell you, my brain was like, nope, you are not sleeping, because we are completely restructuring everything. And I sat there for almost 2 hours doing voice notes, started like in my bed on my phone. I didn't get out of bed, which sometimes I will do. I'll get up, like at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, where I'm like, I'm not falling back asleep. And my brain is like in fire mode, and like the creative energy is just, and I can't stop it. So, but this time it was like, no, I was comfy in my bed. So I stayed in my bed in the dark and pulled out my phone, and I just, all these voice memos, all these voice notes, and it's just spent about 2 hours. And everything that I have been feeling sticky around in my business made sense, and the clarity and everything like that. And the crazy thing about it is it all circled back to the thing that I truly innately know, and where I found success in past businesses, because that's a key. I have a lady who we did a lot of the trainings together, and we have similarity in our blueprint, but again, completely different. There is no two of us that are alike, like at all. So, but we have one aspect. We both have a primary and a secondary divine gift, and we both share one of the two. And she said to me, like, what did you do in your other businesses? Because I've shared with her or whatever. She's like, oh my gosh, Lindsay, like, you are in I know, I created success. She says, how did you do that? And it's because I did it my own way. It's because I didn't take this and then bring to that. And it's one of the places where I myself have been feeling there hasn't been resonance there. And so I've been kind of half-assing that, because again, it hasn't felt truly aligned for me. And because it hasn't felt truly aligned, I haven't been pushing it, right? Like, again, like, we're not going to feel confident to put it out there. And the people who are seeing it, they're not going to feel that energy, because everything is energy, everything, which I don't need to tell you people, you know this. So such clarity. And I have to tell you, that night I went to an event and a lady, she was like, oh my gosh, do Akashic records, you do readings? And I was like, yes. I said, but I don't do them like you probably, if you've ever had one in the past. She's like, I actually haven't. I said, well, I said, I don't do them like other people because I completely tailor. So I take like years of training, of all the levels, of all the things, and I have now made it my own. And so I find out what you need. Where are you at? Where do you want to be 6 months from now? And then I tune in to what parts do we need to put together to create a custom plan for you. So there's no one-off session. There's no any of this. It is truly, and so from a quick conversation with her, she was like, okay, we need to, and she needs clarity. She wants to know more again about her soul. Like, what's her soul's profile? What are her gifts? She wants to find purpose. She's quite young, but hey, it's amazing that she's learning that. Gosh, like honestly, I didn't learn this true stuff about myself until I was in my 40s. You know, I can see in my life where things, especially in business, where I had success, it was because I was partially in alignment to my blueprint. I was accessing one aspect of my divine gifts, but I have divine power too. And I was in a relationship that did not give me the ability to ever actually have that power, that free will. If I did, then we're not going to get into that. So, but anyways, so that's what she wants. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if I had learned that in my early 20s, like what would life have been like? We all have our journeys for what we do and anything. So, but I did that. So I had all of a sudden all this clarity, and then right away somebody, and then the next day somebody else. And then on the week, like, again, when you're in the flow, it's just like ding, 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 ding. That's how it seems to happen. So if you've ever felt like you are doing everything right and you're still stuck, okay, I want to encourage you to stop, like stop. And then quiet your mind. Forget about everything that you've put into all of that. And like, where is your soul guiding you? And try that. And of course, like comment, ask questions. If you're, share, like if this resonates with you and you're like, yeah, I've fallen into this. Like, I totally get it. Like, I totally get it. So, and again, too, if you don't want to share publicly, also, I completely understand, but like feel free to DM me or just, on your, probably the easiest, just shoot me a DM. Like this stuff lights me up. Again, why I'm like, I'm not going to talk for very long, and it's already been 35 minutes. So I'm going to sign off for today. Thank you to everybody who joined me live, and anybody who has watched this replay and gotten to the end. But I hope, if anything, I've just maybe given you a different perspective on like where you may be. If you're feeling stuck after doing all the things that are right, again in quotes, because there's no such thing. Right for me, it's going to be different for you and you and you and you and you and everybody, however many of you there are. So anyways, yeah. So thank you again for joining me. And until next week. But don't forget, if there's something you want me to touch on, like if there's anything that you would, let me know, and I'm happy to chat. If not, I'm just going to talk about whatever it is that happens to be either happening around me or what's coming through or whatever. So I hope you have a great rest of your week, and take care.